Penguin Random House Audio presents Robert B. Parker's Slow Burn by Ace Atkins. Read for you by Joe Mantegna. Kevin always loved fire. His earliest memories were of his mother taking him to blazes, watching men in helmets and heavy coats pull hoses into burning buildings. He loved the way she looked at those men with honor and respect, and maybe something more. Just the crackle of the scanner, a far-off bell ringing, smoke trailing up into the sky made his heart jackhammer. When he drove through the night in his old Crown Vic, he felt like he owned the freaking city. He kept the scanner under the dashboard, a big antenna set on the trunk as he roamed the streets of Hyde Park, Roxbury, Dorchester, Jamaica Plain, Brookline, and up into Cambridge and Charlestown. All that spring and summer, Kevin liked to drive slow, windows down, listening, waiting, and sniffing the air. He'd work his deadbeat job during the day, sleeping through most of it, and then take on the city at night. He, Johnny, and Big Ray would meet up at Scandinavian Pastry in Southie, taking breaks off patrol to talk call boxes, famous fires, new equipment, and all the ways the current administration was fucking up a long, proud tradition. "Coconut Grove," Johnny said, powdered sugar on his mustache. "It could happen again. Payoffs, bribes, and all these damn foreigners in this town. You just wait. Some asshole's going to be changing a light bulb and poof!" "Nobody gives a crap," Ray said. "I've been warning the fire guys for 10 years. Their equipment is turned to shit. They just don't get it. Mayor won't approve the new budget, not with a gun to his nuts." And he'd look up at them, in that little corner for mica-top table, and ask, why don't they do something? Why don't they take action and save this city? Kevin thought about this long and hard. He and Johnny had talked about it 1,000 times, and he'd finally agreed to Johnny's master plan. Save the tradition. Keep Boston safe. Knock people in the side of the head and make them listen. The city needed firefighters, and a lot more of them. Guys ready to serve who were shut out. He met Johnny's eyes across the table. Johnny nodded and said, "Burn it." "Burn what?" Ray said. "Hey, you gonna eat that maple glazed? I've only had 2. Kevin didn't say anything, just leaned back farther in the booth, arms stretched out wide behind Johnny. Short, squat Johnny cutting his eyes over at him and lifting an eyebrow. The scanner clucking off and on. Some bullshit dumpster fire over by the T on Dot Ave. Probably a couple bums roasting a hot dog. "We understand what's wrong with the department," Johnny said, wiping the sugar off his face. "It's the only way. We got the know-how and the skills to make it work." Big Ray looked to each of them with wide, nutty eyes, waiting for someone to tell him what the hell was going on. The scanner caught again, sending the ladder truck and EMS back to the station. False alarm. Silence. Nothing. Fluorescent lights burning over the donut displays, cash register empty, unmanned. No one minding the store at 2 a.m. "Burn it," he said. "Johnny is right." "Burn what?" Big Ray said. "What the hell?" "Boston, you fucking moron," Johnny said. "We burn fucking Boston." Chapter 1. The Harbor Health Club had returned to its roots. Not only was boxing allowed, it was now encouraged by Henry Chimoli. For a waterfront gym that had weathered both urban renewal and Zumba, the time had come. Henry and I took a break from the boxing ring and watched a dozen or so young professionals, men and women, listen to a Cree Indian from Montana teach them how to deliver a left jab. Henry had welded a cage built in the expanse of what had been the workout room, heavy bags swinging from the platform. Half the gym was now boxing, the other half free weights and CrossFit gear. Hawk and I were quite pleased. Not to mention Z, whom Henry had employed for the last 2 years and who had ushered in the new era. You didn't have to do all this for us." "I did it for Mr. Green," he said, rubbing his thumb and two fingers together. "What makes the world go round?" "What if aerobics come back in style?" "I'll bring in fucking monkeys on unicycles if it'll keep this gym open," he said. "If you hadn't noticed, this building isn't on Skid Row anymore." "I could tell by the yachts moored outside," I said. "I pick up on subtle clues like that." We leaned against the ropes like cowboys on a split-rail fence, watching Z help a fit young woman in a pink sports bra throw a left hook. "To be young," Henry said. "The moment's past is at a play," I said. "And I have the ex-wives to prove it," Henry said, letting himself out of the ropes and down the short steps. He walked over to help Z instruct the lithe young woman. I admired his commitment. I spent a half hour on a treadmill, showered, and changed into my street clothes, Levi's, black pocket T-shirt, and a pair of tan suede desert boots. As I was headed to the street, a rotund man in a gray sweatshirt whistled for me. He'd been running the dumbbell rack with biceps curls, his fat face flushed and sweaty. Jack McGee wiped the towel over his neck and said, "Christ, Spenser, I've been waiting for you all freaking morning." "Nice to be needed." I shook his wet hand. Jack sweated a lot. He was a short, thick guy with Irish written all over his face. I'd known him for many years, and in the many I'd known him, he'd been a Boston firefighter. Being a firefighter was more than a job for Jack. It was a calling. "I got a problem," he said, whispering, although most of Henry's clients were in the boxing room. "Superset your buys and tries," I said. "Work the dumbbells with press downs." "Are you busy with anything right now?" I shrugged. "I just finished an insurance fraud case," I said, "but I'm always on standby for the big S projected into the clouds over Boston." "Well, I got a big fucking S for you," he said, "as in the shit has hit the fan." "I'm familiar with that S." "There's this thing." "There's always a thing," I said. "Can we talk outside?" McGee followed me out to my newish blue Explorer. I tossed my gym bag into the back and leaned against the door with my arms folded over my chest. I had worked out hard, and my biceps bulged from my T-shirt. I feared if I stood there any longer, I might be accosted by passing women. "You know about the fire last year?" McGee said. Everyone knew about the fire last year. 3 firefighters had died at an old church in the South End. The funeral mass had been televised on local TV. There had been an inquiry. I'd never spoken to Jack about it other than to offer my condolences. "For the last year, I've been saying it was arson," he said. "But no one's been arrested, and I hear things have stalled out. It's always tomorrow with those guys. And now we're getting shit burning nearly every night. This city's got an arsonist loose, and no one wants to admit it." "You think it's connected to the church?" "Damn right," he said. "But no one is saying shit in the department. I lost my best friend, Pat Doherty, in that church. We went through the academy together. Then at Engine 33, Ladder 15 for the first 3 years. Godfather to his kids. Same neighborhood. Jesus, you know?" I nodded again. I told him I was very sorry. "Mike Mulligan hadn't been on the job but 6 months," McGee said. "A rake, an open-up man. His dad was a fireman. He was a Marine like me. Saw some shit over in Afghanistan only to come home and get killed." I opened up the driver's door and let the windows down. It was June and the morning had grown warm. No one was complaining. We'd just survived the longest, snowiest winter since Grant was president. "Why do you think the church is connected to the new fires?" "Call it fireman's intuition." "Got anything more than that?" I said. "That church wasn't an accident," he said. "Everybody knows it. Arson sifted through that shit pile for months. No signs of electrical or accidental. It's a fucking fire of unknown origin. How's that sit with Pat's wife and kids?" "Arson investigation is a pretty specialized field," I said. "Most of the clues burn up." I don't need more samples in my...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?